so you turned off the music.
Oh, do you want me to turn it on?
No, it's okay. Whatever. Oh. Bon Iver. Did you know what the album was called?
No. Bon Iver?
That's what everyone thought until he came out with the I think it was the vinyl or the digital download, and then it was called Bon Iver, Bon Iver.
That's what it says on this thing. It just says
Yeah.
Bon Iver.
Yeah. So it's Bon Iver, comma, Bon Iver.
Why is it called that?
Because it's like how you say San Francisco, California. Bon Iver, Bon Iver. The first album was called For Emma, Forever Ago.
Who's Emma?
Comma. Whoever his ex was, probably, I don't know. And then it's Bon Iver, Bon Iver. And there are a bunch of cities in, like, referenced in his song titles. And then the third album is called 22 A Million, so the comma is still there. And now his fourth album recently is called I, comma I, like little I, comma little I. So he loves commas.
Do you think he's doing it like, you know how it's like first name comma last name, or last name comma first name, so it's meant to be flipped?
It could. That's a valid interpretation without the context that he provides. But the way that, like, the press release was, or his interview, he had like an interview where he just said that it's actually called Bon Iver, like a city and state.
I see.
Yeah, but I like your interpretation too. Speaking of the fourth album, I've only heard it once, and this was before I listened in your hearing, and I was kind of busy doing other things, which is not the way.
That's unusual.
Yeah,
Usually don't listen
like,
to music.
I was just anxious to hear it, but I had a lot of things to do that day. So it was really it's not the right way to listen to new music that you're anticipating.
Yeah.
And I can't say that I loved my first listen, but I did notice some cool kind of fresh sounds from them. I'm gonna see them on the 12th, so that's this coming week.
Cool.
That's nice. And then you heard it, and your first thought was,
Well, I only heard like 30 seconds of one song, and to me it wasn't good.
Your precise reaction was, what the is this? Do you remember that?
Okay, I was saying that the reactions that I've always had towards his songs were always like, it would bring me to tears. Like, I listened to this song,
so
Holocene, I like, every time I listen to it, it brings me to tears. And then so when I heard that song, and then you told me it was Bon Iver, and I was like, what?
Yeah. So I don't know. Jerry's still out on it for me. I have to give it a real proper listen. I'm looking forward to seeing them live, because they're like real musicians. They don't just hit play for a concert, and they like are so good. So I can't wait to see what they do live. It's just, it's crazy how much their production has grown. I mean, you and I saw them in Boston. We were surrounded by some woohoo girls, but you remember?
That's right. It was at a festival.
Woohoo!
It was a festival.
Skinny Love, woohoo!
It was festival. Yeah.
But it was still, they're still good.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe that'll turn on some light bulbs for me. Maybe the album's just a grower. But anyway, back to the original reason I switched on this which I haven't done in a while. It hasn't been a new Crusin video in a while. Was because Ellen came up with a new way to describe my music. This is my video on my channel, so I guess it's all about me. And your first and former description of my original music was...
It would put me to sleep.
It would put you to sleep, okay. Anything else that you added to that?
I think I described it, I described the feeling. I couldn't put a label on it. I kind of just described how I felt. And it, to me, it felt like, it's like a lullaby almost, but the words, the melodies it's very smooth to listen to, very easy to listen to, but the words are very heavy. So like, even though on the outside it feels, the illustrations, like on the outside maybe you look very calm or you like the proverbial you, but on the inside there's like all of this like deep turmoil and unresolved feelings and like strong emotions. That's what listening to your music felt like. It's like, so like for a period of time during when it was like a really rough time for me, like for work, driving to work at like 6 a.m. in the morning, it's very calm. There are barely any cars on the road, and I'm driving like really calmly, but then on the inside I'm like full of these unresolved emotions.
And so you could resonate.
So when I listened, there was a period of time where for like a week or two, I just listened to your music in the morning on the drive, and I'd be like, oh yeah, he can relate. Oh yeah, this song knows how I'm feeling.
Man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to go back even to take another step farther back, this started because I asked you how you would describe my original music, because I can never describe it.
I see. Oh, that's why you turned on the video, or what do you mean?
That's why I had asked you
You've asked
originally,
me that
many times.
Like years, like for a while.
Well, yeah, and the reason I turned on the video is because you had a new description today.
Well, yeah, so before it was like that was my description, and then today I was like, I think it's time to like listen to Warren's music, and then when I turned it on, I was like, oh, this is like someone trying to do yoga on the streets of New York. This is what Warren's music is like. It's like you're trying to do yoga on a busy street. That's what it feels like. You're like trying to shut out the realities and all the noise and sound of the world, but you know you can't. You're inside it, but you're like just trying so hard to do yoga. You're just trying so hard to like be at peace with yourself, and it's just like this tension. There's tension. That's probably what it is.
So it's not so
describes
much
the tension.
The tension of outside and inside.
Yes.
It's not really about like a populated city where people are walking around and staring at you and making you feel uncomfortable because you're doing something weird.
No, because in New York, no one's gonna stop. No one cares.
No. That's true. If someone were doing yoga on the street, maybe people would just walk by.
Yeah, there's like a naked cowboy like who walks around.
I haven't heard of this. But before we bird walk down that naked cowboy, I just wanted to capture that. That was the first time I heard that description. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
Relevant is another fact for any of you who have heard my original music. In 3 days' time, I'm going into the studio for one full day with a very, very talented producer / engineer I mentioned before in one of my recent, maybe my last Crusin video, Bo Sorensen. And I am both excited and intimidated. And it wasn't until a couple of days that I kind of decided what I'm gonna do during that time. So I I was like scrambling and just like, what do I do? What do I do? How do we spend the time? And you know, but now I think I know kind of what I want to do as far as
Cool.
like, you know, a rough or loose agenda for that day.
Mm.
So things are happening at glacial speed. Glacial. It's a cool word to
I was
describe.
like, I heard speed, and then I was like, wait, is glacial a word I should know? I was like, wait, no, that's glacier. That's
Yeah.
glacial. That's slow.
Yeah.
And then I left.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. Thank you for letting me capture that.
Oh, good.
Alrighty. Take it easy.